Hello and welcome everyone, this is Calebovitsch coming to you with another Storybook Brawl video. Hold the press, hold the door, and hold onto your hats, because we've just received a big patch 0.61.1 for Storybook Brawl, and this one is a doozy, and there's a lot of things to go through, so let's dive right in, and yes. 2 new hero skins, 2 brand new heroes, 2 brand new characters, many balance changes, bug fixes, and, most importantly, huzzah! So we have 2 new hero skins. We have 1 hero skin for Morgan of the Rose, and 1 for Dragon Mother Gwen. Now these will be available in the store, and you can buy each of them for 200 gems, or 300 gems if you don't have the hero yet. And what that means is you got to go to the store, go to Dragon Mother Gwen, buy her because she looks amazing. Go to Morgan of the Rose, buy her because she looks amazing. And these 2 skins mean that... Oh, I cannot click here right now, so I will just show you over here. So you get Morgan if you're playing Morgan, and you get Gwen if you're playing Gwen. The emotes you get here for Morgan and for Gwen are only, if they're the same as they were for Super Pan, they're here only if you are playing that hero. But don't these look amazing? Like, seriously. I mean, I think this fire-breathing Gwen is currently my favorite. So yeah, if you have gems, I would suggest you purchase these because these are amazing. But that's not all, folks. We also have 2 new heroes in the game. Miri, Lion King, and Fallen Angel. Anger? Anyway, Miri Lion King, or Miri King Lion, says your princess and princesses have +2/+2 for each prince and princess you've upgraded this game so far. So this is above that counts all the times you would have upgraded. And they say, I'm Miri, King of Kings, look upon my animal court, ye mighty and be joyful. The lush and level savannah stretches far away. So yes, King Lion remembers how many times you've completed a quest or found 3 of a kind of a prince or a princess over the course of the entire game. And royal builds were missing exactly that, missing something that would help them get in the late game. I mean, royals are not that bad in lower MMR lobbies, but yes, this allows you to go through the mid-game, through the late game, and with some other buffs that you will see in a moment, I think this would be a very cool build around. Next one is Fallen Angel. This one is a bit more tricky. This one says your characters have +2 attack if you have 3 evil characters, and +2 health if you have 3 good characters. So this one wants you to go both ways at the same time. I mean, you do remember a board where in 5 you have a good witch, an evil witch, and in 7 you have a good witch. Front row you have 2 evil, 2 good, and there's 6 in the middle lies something that can be even neutral. I mean, why not? Why not? This hero rewards you for taking a totally different path than normal, and we love that. Well, I hope we love that as well, dear developers. Please note that this bonus works for the rest of the brawl. If at any point during that brawl you had 3 evil and or 3 good characters, so if you start the brawl with 3 of each, you will have the bonus for the rest of that brawl. If you start with just 2 good characters but summon a 3rd good character, you will have the +2 health for the rest of the brawl, which means for the round. So in a round, if you are going for 3+3, this gives you a huge boost. On the other hand, you could look at this as a mesh of Krampus and Mrs. Klaus for the thing that you want to be doing, for the thing that you want to be supporting, i.e., well, Krampus is for evil characters, but Krampus is bad if you can't find any decent evil characters, and vice versa for Mrs. Klaus. So Fallen Angel, whatever you find, whichever path you go, unless it's neutral dwarves, you will get a buff. So even if you don't play this for the full +2/+2, you will still have a good time. I mean, more health on good characters, more attack on good characters. This is obviously going to fall off late in the game, but I mean, that's when you change to Morgan or Gwen, right? I mean, those premium ones you can see here in the store still. Anyway, we also have 2 new characters, and the first one is a doozy. It's called Shoulder Fairies. It's a level 6 1/1 fairy, so it currently doesn't benefit from being in a tribe. At the start of each brawl, I gain the attack of your strongest evil character and the health of your healthiest good character. So strongest we've already seen, but healthiest, I think this is the first iteration of the word healthiest in the rule set, which is cool, sure, or very cool. This would mean you have to go one way or the other way unless you have round table. I hope this would work with round table. So for example, and I wonder what the order would be if you, for example, have Ashwood Elm, trees, and this. This looks like a mini Echo Wood that procs at the start. And I mean, if you have an evil character in 1 and you have Magic Sword plus 100, this gets plus 100. If this is upgraded, it gains double the attack of your strongest evil character, double the health of your healthiest good character. Well, as the developers say, one of our goals is to create new characters and heroes that increase the variety of viable late-game builds. Storybook Brawl's newest character can have huge stats in the late game with the right team. Will it push players into a new late-game direction? It could. I mean, sure, but it would mean a very specific route, and it would usually mean like going on top of a build that is not something specific, but that is like a mesh of good stats on the units that you have. So it could be good, yes. It could be evil, yes. How's it going to look in the end? Well, I guess I should play and see, because it's difficult right now for me to come with a specific combination of things to go for. I mean, depending on the order of triggers, this could be like an additional tree for treants, because like round table treants, because they have health on their good ones and they have attack on their evil ones. So yeah, if you have Ashwood Elm and any good trees like Soltec Ancient or Robin Wood or Green Knight, sure, why not? So this would be the first, like the 7th tree or something like that. But I guess you would want the 7th tree more than this, or Echo Wood more than this. So is this Echo Wood 2-point weak? I don't know. But the other one looks very interesting, especially the upgraded version. It's Baby Bugbear! It's a level 3 character that is 2/2. Last breath, your next shop sells a character that is 1 level higher than your hero. And the upgraded version, first I thought it would be 2 characters, but no. The upgraded version is last breath, your next shop sells a character that is 2 levels higher than your hero. This looks very innocent, but this is a really cool early game addition for compositions, for heroes such as Trophy Hunter and Muerte, which look for last breath on your early game characters, and your early game characters otherwise usually don't have those. Like, okay, you have Lucky. I mean, Lucky is the closest comparison, but instead of making the characters cheaper, it makes them bigger. Like, it's like a combination of, I don't know, maybe Lucky and Polywoggle, something like that. This is going to be very interesting. This is going to help, like, Trophy Hunter find all their level 4s that they need, like Grimsoul and Friendly Spirit, a couple of rounds before that. And that also means you don't have to level up as fast as possible if you're just looking for some pieces of the combo. You're looking for Baby Bugbear, and you have a non-zero probability of finding them. I mean, sure, it's random. And let's say on level 4, let me consult my notes. On level 4, how many characters do you have? On level 4, you have, well, 23 characters. So you're probably finding one of the 2 is like 5%, something like that. But it's still non-zero. And if you can find something 2 levels higher, like if you're on level 4, you have this one upgraded, and you can find a level 6. I mean, usually you buy the first level 6 unless it's Lordy. But even with early Lordy, you can just go into Dwarves and be happy with that. So I think this one has potential. But once again, I would have to play with it, and I will play this character to see how it goes. It's going to be better in some builds. It's going to be, like I said, once again, we'll see. And a lot of balance changes. And the first and obvious change is to Aeon. I mean, The fact that Aeon is getting a buff was obvious because I believe it was the least played level 5 character, but the buff itself was not obvious. I mean, it gets +2 attack, sure, but also it gets Slay. Your spells cost 1 less next round. So Aeon is actually wearing Merlin's Hat Jr. if it is able to Slay. Remember, you can also get Grimsoul and trigger the Slay effect, and then maybe Aeon slays as well, who knows, and Aeon's attack grows, so it's easier for Aeon to slay. So yeah, this is a whole process, this is a whole combo, and the upgraded version says your spells cost 2 less next round. And if you proc that multiple times, this is a huge, monstrous boost to the already amazing Crystal Ball. So yes, I am looking forward to playing with more spell builds, for sure. Next, we have The End, which has a rather strange looking nerf. It's moved from level 3 to level 4. Now, as far as levels of the spells go, some of you might not know this, but in your collection tab, oh, by the way, Fallen Angel, click. Miri, click. Okay, I will use them later on today, hopefully. Yes, when you get to spells also have their levels. So if your hero is on level 2, you only have access to these spells. If your hero is on level 3, you also have access to these spells, etc., etc. So what that The End nerf means, and they stated it themselves as well, The End was causing issues with too much life gain in Peter Pan's builds using Merlin's Hat and Crystal Ball. This will keep it out of Peter's hands while keeping the card itself the same. There is also the case of having a store on level 3, like when you reach 3.0 on round 4, and in your store you have The End and some characters, and you would love to buy The End, but you don't want to lose your board position. So there is that. This being on level 4 and 5 means it could be the final push for you to get to level 6, but once you reach the final level, you will not see this in the store, which means you will just see this less often. Okay, I mean, fine. It kind of nerfs leveling, and I get that, and I believe it's cool. Wildgrowth gets nuked out of the orbit, being taken from a level 2 treasure to a level 4 treasure, which mainly means you can't do the overcooking with Celestial Tiger anymore. Okay, that happens. I've already done a couple of videos on that. I'm fine, yeah. Right now, when you get it on level 4, you're not usually locking treants. This could be one of those cases where you get early mice. You get a level 4 treasure that is like a direction treasure for you, like a Dwarven Forge or a Sky Castle. But I believe this is not going to be seeing that much play. Like, it's not nuking it out of the orbit. It is growing those Ashwood Elms. It is providing you with a different play style, to be honest, because later in the game you're selling off your bench characters to roll for further stores to be able to lock those treants, and that's fine. It's just not going to be as OP, and I believe that's fine because those 200,000 health Broccolies were getting out of control. Anyway, Vainpire got a sideways buff, as they called it in Eternal Card Game. It has -1 attack, but the Slay says +1/+1 permanently. So it's not going to be a token slaying machine early on. No. But it is growing permanently, and that's what this character was lacking for the longest of times, seriously. That's why Vainpire, you didn't see Vainpire in mid-game or late-game combinations. The -1 attack is gonna get changed really fast once it gets at least one Slay. You can obviously combine it with Mim or other attack enhancers, but this means it could stay, such as Chupacabra was staying in some early late game builds, so to say. Now the Chupacabra is getting a bigger change because instead of getting +1/+2 permanently on Slay, it says give the characters behind me +1/+1 permanently. And I was thinking about this, and this looks, on the face of it, it looks like a huge nerf to the Chupacabra. But it is not a straight nerf. It is more like changing the way you think about doing builds with the Chupacabra. Because what do you have in the back? You have Sporko, you have Lady of the Lake, you have other enhancers, you have other ranged enhancers that you would otherwise would not be able to enhance or buff or something like that, unless you're playing Aeon, because those two I've mentioned are mages. But this, like, you could buff your Baba Yagas. You're just buffing your backline, and it's cool. It just means that the Vampire is an earlier Chupacabra that you can put in your composition. Remember, Chupacabra back in the day had +1/+1 instead of +1/+2, I believe. It was also a 5/5. Right now, I like that they are opening some other avenues for Slay builds to buff your team. Next up, two spells that were not really played, that were not really bought, are getting slight buffs. Toil and Trouble is getting its cost reduced from a 3 to a 2. And that's fine. I mean, right now, if you have Merlin's Hat and you can buy this for free, then it's fine. Especially that you have to take into consideration whether all, or at least most of those heroes that you already have on the board will survive till your mid-game, till your late-game compositions. Maybe these lands on some temporary things, so it's not always the best. But +4/+4 permanently, this is like giving Jack's Jumping Beans, like cutting it in half, giving it to two characters, but you're doing it permanently. That's fine. That's really fine. And Merlin's Test is now giving +4/+4, possibly a permanent buff. I mean, I personally was using Merlin's Test from time to time, especially on shooters or slayers or characters that needed the attack buff, like Happy Little Tree, like Court Mage, like Adventure, so I think this is more than fine. Ruby Slippers, cut. They said that they didn't want the overlap of this and Ring of Regeneration, and I'm fine with that. I mean, almost no one was taking Ruby Slippers unless they lost a bet. Princess White. Now, this is one of the strangest changes I have seen. On the one hand, you can see Princess White earlier for your dwarf builds. On the other hand, the stats are lower, and that's kind of obvious because with higher level comes bigger responsibility and higher stat lines. But also, when you fulfill the quest for Princess White, she was best known for fulfilling her quest and getting Dwarven Forge, the level 4 treasure that said you only need 2 dwarves to upgrade dwarves instead of 3. Right now, it doesn't give you that. It gives you a deep stone mine, or, well, she can always give you Headball. So that's a cool change. She doesn't do the full dwarf package, but it is once she gets going, and she gets going faster. So I think I kind of approve this change. It means dwarves are starting to get built earlier. The biggest change, I believe, is Prince Arthur, getting from a 4 to a level 3. The stat line change is fine, but you can get going on your royals that much faster. I mean, getting Prince Arthur on 4.0 was the signal to get into royals more often than not, especially if you already upgraded your Cinderella, if you are working on your Brave Princess, if you have your Frog Princess, etc. Then it's cool. But right now, what if you can get your Cinderella procced really early because you found that mysterious scroll? If you get Prince Arthur in your early level 3, then it's just amazing. And as they said, they want to introduce a larger variety of late game comps by allowing you to start working on them early game, not mid game, but early game. And that's more than fine. Next up, another royal gets a royal treatment, the Nutcracker. Quest goes down from surviving damage 5 times to 4 times. And that's fine. Maybe he will build the Sky Castle for you. Hungry Hippocampus has an interesting change, but I forgot to take a look at what the change on the upgraded version is. I guess it's 4. Hippocampus, yes, 4. Okay. So Hungry Hippocampus moves from a level 3 to a level 4. It's like 4, but it's already the upgraded version, sans 1 health. Because previously the upgraded version was a 10-2, right? Right now the regular version is a 10-1. When you buy or summon an animal, I gain +2 health permanently. It already has a high attack. Once you upgrade upgrade it, it has 20 attack and it gains +4 health permanently. And this works with summon builds, this works with Princess Peep, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, Baby Bear, Black Cat, everything. 3 big pigs. So this means it is that much better for mid-game transitioning into animals or from animals. Greedy got a buff from a 3/6 to a 4/8. It survives damage that much more. It's not a huge change, but it is a change for the better. Thank you, say the dwarves. One hero got a buff, and it's Geppetto. When you summon a character during a brawl, instead of giving it +2/+2, give it +3/+3 for the duration of the brawl. Biggest impact? Princess Peep. Princess Peep, instead of 7/7 on stats, is going to be 10/10 on stats. And given that, you have Tweedledee, you have Trojan Donkey. Geppetto early game is not the worst. And that additional +1/+1 on your animals, if you're summoning them late game with Bearstein, gets multiplicated even further, even more skyward. Then Geppetto is still very high on the variance, because if you're looking for very small pools of specific characters, that means the hero has high variance, but it also has very high value. I believe this could be, in the early and mid game, almost as high value as Evola right now. But also, once again, it's easier for Evola to find animals or evil characters, because animals, I believe, are the most numerous tribe in the game, with 20 characters. Right now, I think 21 over 92. And evil being like a third of the cast. So yes, Geppetto, really, really cool. Dracula's Saber, the lowest rated level 5 treasure, instead of giving +2 attack every time an enemy character dies, it's giving +2/+1. That's fine. We still can use that, but it's not the greatest. The other biggest treasure change, aside from Wild Growth, is Corrupted Heartwood. Instead of your treants having +3 attack and being evil, your animals and treants have +1 attack and are evil. And this allows you for, once again, a wider range of mid-game and late-game compositions. Because the fact that animals are evil, like you have Crown of Atlas, all animals are good and good boy. But right now, all your animals are evil. So Evola, Krampus, Fallen Angel, you have a ton of stuff to work with. You have... and this also allows Evola to be much better in your end game. And Evola might not need to transition from animals beginning of level 5. She might just want to stay there. Bad Moon, once again, a weaker treasure. Now when one of your characters triggers a slay ability, give it +1/+2 permanently. And with the Vainpire change, this could be really good for some mid-game slay compositions. Gilded Harp is out, so the biggest high roll of Wander Waddle getting early mice, getting Gilded Harp is out, and that is more than fine. For the longest of times, people have been thinking, okay, Gilded Harp is on 4. Staff of the Old Toad is on 5. That says level 2 and 3 characters don't appear in your shop anymore. What if you upgrade Gilded Harp, nerf it to a level 5, but then on 5 you have the choice of they are upgraded or they don't appear in your shop? I think this is fine. I believe that developers from Good Luck Games, the people behind Storybook Brawl, are doing a really fine job, because they do not fear just straight out cutting cards from the game. It already happened with Lich's Heart, and I'm fine with that. It already happened with the evil portal that summoned Balors instead of whatever would come. I'm fine with that. Cutting the Slippers is fine. Cutting Gilded Harp is fine. It's not easy, but I believe it's a really good choice. Mainly because, well, they said finding an upgraded Prince Arthur would be OP. Yes, I agree. But also, having early or mid-game access via Blind Mice to Gilded Harp means that you only have upgraded things on your board, and each upgraded character deals 3 damage instead of 1 damage to the opponent when you win a brawl, and that speeds up the lobby by a lot. So I'm more than fine with this removal. Coin of Karen. Each brawl, you get your first character that dies +4/+4 instead of +3/+3 permanently. I'm fine. I don't think it needed a change, but I'm more than fine with that. And we also have a list of bug fixes. I will just get through the most important ones right now. Secret Stash now triggers at the end of the brawl before you take damage. Yay. Gloves of Thieving and Kidnap now put the character in the shop with 0 cost if you have a full hand, so you don't have to have an empty space on your bench. Yay. Poison Apple now takes effect after Round Table. Yay. Helm of the Ugly Gosling now takes effect after other buffs. It now has the same timing as Robin Wood after Ashwood Elm. Great. Next up, what do we have? Treasures that summon characters, Phoenix Feather and Reduplicator, now summon to the correct place instead of the firstmost space, so they don't benefit from Sting or Magic Sword +100. And I believe there's 1 or 2 more. Yes, level 7 treasures now show up in the collection. So everything that was hidden is now revealed. You can see level 7 treasures right here in your collection. But the choice also is for characters, but there are no level 7 characters, and there are no level 7 spells. I don't believe this is a change that means that we will be getting up to level 7. I believe it means there might be some hidden ones or something like that. But yes, this is going to be it for the patch notes. Read through. I really like most of the changes. I really like the removals. I really like the inclusions. And I cannot wait to play even more Storybook Brawl. And I'll see you guys in the next video.